Good evening. I'm calling to order the meeting of the Select Board on October 27, 2025. This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Select Board is being conducted both in person and remotely, consistent with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, which suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed to participate remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For the public to join their meeting remotely by telephone, dial 1-408-650-3123 and use access code 235-235-861. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting./join/235-235-861. All supporting materials that have been provided to members of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. Is anyone else recording tonight's meeting? I hear a yes. No. Okay, so let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand if you're able for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so item number 3 is public comments. Do we have anyone signed up? No? Okay. Item 4, no, gone to item 5, presentation and public hearings. We're going to hear a presentation this evening. We're going to see a department snapshot, and our Veteran Service Officer, Dave Adams, will present. So you want to sit at the podium? You can go to the podium or the chair here, whatever you want. The podium. Okay, great.
Change this for me or my...
You can change it.
So good evening, Madam Chair, Select Board members, Madam Town Manager. So my name is Dave Adams. I spent 26 years in the United States Marine Corps. I retired out of Westover Air Force Base. I was the active duty Sergeant Major there for 2 units. I retired in 2013, married a beautiful woman from Southbridge, and that's where I call home now. I'm originally from Southern California. So tonight I just want to give you a quick snapshot of what the VSO does for the town of Auburn. So first thing is, I'm kind of your designated individual on Veterans Matters, period, be it the VA, be it Chapter 115. You guys appointed me, and I thank you for that, back in, I think it was December, January. I take care of the Chapter 115, which is the Mass General Law, but I'm also a VA rep for the Veterans Administration. Quick little role for myself here. Assist veterans and families with municipality, state, and federal benefits applications. I have to be certified in 2 different areas, one for the state and one for the VA. I provide emergency financial assistance under Chapter 115, in which you guys vote on every single year, or the town does when it comes to the budget season. I help with VA claims for disability compensation, pensions, VA health, survivor benefits, etc. There's quite a bit of red tape, and I always used to like to say was that the VA, I can actually go down to a restaurant and write my complaint down, my disability, and you can turn it into the VA. And that was true back then. Not anymore. We've probably got a good 1,000 forms to fill out here and there. I coordinate local veterans outreach, memorials, ceremonies as required. I do give a lot of advice to the I speak with the American Legion. I give advice where we should go from what the town should do as veterans in working with the select board itself and the town manager. And the biggest thing here is maintain confidentiality. I will tell you, I'm the VSO in the town of Oxford, and I'm also the president of the Veterans Council in Southbridge as well. So we understand about the confidentiality. We've actually had requests before in another town for the names of the individuals, be it a surviving spouse, be it a veteran, for that information, and we don't give that to them at all. We just want to make sure that when we do this, a lot of it is confidential, and we want to make sure we maintain that. So I want to give you a snapshot of what Chapter 115 is all about. So Chapter 1, Mass General Law, Chapter 115 provides that support from the local municipality and the state itself to individuals within the town of Auburn. So those are the individuals I help here. Now, I can help somebody from, let's say, Southbridge, but the fact is, the monies that you provide here are from Auburn and the state of Massachusetts, so we have to stick to here. But we've actually transferred some individuals from one town to another, Worcester be one, Oxford another. Provide monthly financial aid for eligible veterans and surviving spouses based on income. Covers needs such as rent, utilities, medical, dental expenses, and food. We don't pay the bills. We're not into that business, but what we do is we try to help out wherever we can, if either it's rental assistance or we work with a leasing agency, or we make sure that, let's just say, a surviving spouse doesn't understand what their rights are. We make sure that they understand their rights. And I will say at the very end is my contact information. And the Madam Town Manager, when we met before, when I first got hired on, I do give out my cell phone number. So if I'm not within the states, obviously I won't return calls out of state or out of the country, but if I'm here within the United States, I will return the phone calls even on weekends. So for every dollar that the taxpayers of Auburn provide, 75% of that is given back to you, reimbursed back to you by the state of Massachusetts. And in other cases, it could be almost 100%. It depends on the case itself. I have not seen one that goes 100%, but 75% of it goes back. And it's my responsibility to get with the town treasurer and the town accountant, along with the state, and make sure what I'm providing is accurate, so the taxpayers get that full 75% back. And we audit I get audited pretty much every month. And I know Karen very well, and she will call me out in a heartbeat if I'm... Eligibility for Chapter 115 must reside in the state of Massachusetts and be an honorably discharged veteran. So if you have 5 discharges, 3 of them are under honorable conditions, 2 of them are not. So that's one of the big things that you have to pay attention to when you pull their DD 214 or that form that is like their birth certificate, death certificates, everything to them. Based on income, 200% below the poverty level. So let's say you have to make under $2,600 a month, period, of all income. And you have to have assets less than $8,600. So my responsibility is to take a look at all that, including life insurance policies and stuff like that. Eligible participants may also include surviving spouses, dependents of qualified veterans. Yes, adult dependents do qualify. Obviously, there's court orders, stuff like that we have to abide by. I have never ran into one as of yet, but plenty of surviving spouses. And periodic recertifications. Basically, if you're somebody that's not eligible to work anymore, 65 and older, something like that, you get recertified every 6 months. I send out the paperwork, we go review your finances, make sure you're still on the up and up. I believe it or not, I've had people save a lot of money and then they fall right out of that bracket, which is a good thing because, you know, obviously they're doing the right thing and it's going well for them. But somebody like my age or some of you out here, then it's a month to month. It's literally, I have to check your statements every single month and you have to go find a job. And normally 6 months is, recertification is January 1st and July 1st. So not every VSO in the Commonwealth And there's a state law that states that every town has to have some type of VSO. It depends on the population. So in our case here, Keith Roberts is the VSO for the entire area. He covers Charlton, Southbridge, Auburn, and Oxford. Now, within every single town, you get a part-timer, and that would be somebody like in my position here now. So not every VSO, though, is a VA rep. So I happen to be a VA rep with an accreditation, and I have to accredit it every single year. I have to take a test. I have to do 32 hours of training as well. So we get that certification. I belong to what's called NAC VSO, County Veteran Service Officers. But you can belong to the VFW, VA, or American Legion. You have to be, that organization has to be accredited by the VA itself, and then you have to go through an entire process of training and your tests and stuff like that, and you have to do it again, like I said, every year. Assist with, my main goal here is, or my main job there is to assist with healthcare enrollment. I'm not the decision maker. I'm enough to understand what's going on, but I am not the decision maker. I push through the red tape. I make sure that when we do something write-up for somebody, that it's accurate as best as possible. And the fact is, you're trying to make sure the veteran gets every benefit that they are eligible for. Not every veteran is the same when it comes to benefits. And also help navigate the VA appeals and evidence gathering. I will backtrack a little bit. As a VSO for the town, I have been to court a few times when there's an abuse of funds, or let's just say the state doesn't approve it. So my job would be to go advocate for that surviving spouse or veteran. Same thing happens here through the VA system as well. Works closely with accredited service organization, again, VFW, DAV, and I happen to belong to the County Veteran Service Officers. Another thing is outreach to the community. That's a big thing. I actually what I do now is once a month I go down to the senior center and I have my one-on-one with individuals. It's starting to grow. It was very slow at the time, but I also know there was a revolving door of VSO, so it takes a little bit of time for trust and confidence back into that individual or that position. But I know I found out recently, a few months back, that you have a Veterans Advisory Committee. So we do have the individuals now. All I have to do is set up the meeting, and hopefully we can work it from there. And hopefully in the next couple months, the town manager will start seeing some progress with that. Also, there's a thing called the Trustees, Soldiers, Sailors, Marines, and Airmen's program, which are responsible for the memorials. I help with that as well. And then also the American Legion. I've worked well with them here locally, and they're a great organization and great facility that they have there, and it's amazing. And I have offered up my services to come out at night during their meetings. I'm not an American Legion member, but they can bring me in and I can give the resources evenings with them. And I can do that here within the town community center or locally. And also offers referrals and community support services such as housing, counseling, and job assistance. I can't help get somebody into the housing. I can make sure that the paperwork is done properly and I can follow up with them. Obviously, there's a HIPAA laws out there that So the impact on Auburn. Serves Auburn's veteran population with dignity and respect. My job is to be able to answer the phone call. Usually what I say is if I'm not here, within 48 hours, you're going to get a phone call back from me. Help ensure veterans and their families receive essential support. Again, it could be, just a family member passed away and they don't have a DD-214, and how do we go get that DD-214? You have two ways, locally and through the National Archives. Build partnership with local organizations to improve services and outreach at the same time. I explained that already. Strengthens Auburn's commitment to its veterans community. So the HERO Act, which was passed in August of 2024, that's a big deal. It changed the definition of a veteran. You have the VA side that explains a veteran is this way. The state of Massachusetts has a different definition. They with the HERO Act, they mirrored that, and some of those veterans that did not qualify for Chapter 115 now do because they have maybe 10% VA disability. Also, the property taxes, the abatement for that, the annuity went from a couple $1,000s paid twice a year to $2,500 paid once a year in August of every year. And that was a big push. I'm going to tell you right now, and coming from California, I will say this, the state of Massachusetts does a really good job taking care of its veterans and its spouses. And this is my contact information. As I said, my cell phone number is there. Everybody asks why I have a 405 area code. Well, when they came out with cell phones, I just came back from overseas, and I was an instructor at the University of Oklahoma for the Marine Corps. So I have the 405 area code, and my accreditation number for the VA is on there as well, so they can always look it up. And if you go to the va.gov website, my name pops up locally. Said I was told I had 5 minutes, so hopefully I didn't go.
Okay, any questions?
Not necessarily a question, but thank you. Appreciate it. And I understand you have a birthday coming up, so happy 250th.
I do, and I say it at every luncheon I go to. I make sure everybody knows Marine's 250 years old. Thank you.
Now that I say that, I do have do we know how many veterans are in Auburn?
Yeah, so I did pull that from the town clerk. You have over 600 to 700 veterans, give or take. It depends on, sometimes that's not updated because they've moved out or maybe passed away, and we haven't got that updated information, but I did pull that, 600, 700 of them.
Excellent, thank you.
I just want to say thank you so much for doing what you do, because it's a lot. It's a lot to know about, and it's important to support our veterans.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just want to, thank you for your service, and thank you for your continued service as our representative in supporting the veterans locally. I am going to put you on the spot. Feel free to actually, if you want to think about it and then get back to us, that's fine. Is there anything else that the town can be doing better to either support yourself in your work, your department, or support Auburn veterans?
I talked to the town manager when I first got hired on here. We had a great conversation, actually, after I was hired on here, on things that I do in other towns and that I would like to be able to do within the town of Auburn itself, even though I'm part-time. One thing that I explained was, I do a luncheon in Oxford right around Veterans Day, but that costs money too. So I do that. I do a resources evening in that town once a year. So I talk about from local Chapter 115 and benefits here all the way to the VA side of the house. And it opens the doors for veterans and their loved ones, especially like daughters and sons. They will come now. They'll come in and talk on behalf of their father or their mother who served in the military. But the town manager and I have discussed that. And that's what I'd like to see down the road. Maybe not a luncheon, but something to bring it to, that the town really is caring about its veterans and the family members. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your service, Mr. Adams, and thank you for the presentation tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay, looking at our agenda, we're at item 5B. We have a public hearing and a possible board vote on auto repair license for M&T Auto Body and Repair at 848 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Mass. Do we have anyone from that business here? Okay.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Would you like to speak?
If I can, thank you, through the chair. M&T Auto Body had come here a little over a month ago for a license, and one of the questions that was asked is this just a name change? And I think there was some confusion with that, and the answer was yes, but in reality, it wasn't, or it was over the past few years, but it had been several years since this business actually had a license. So we thought it was important to bring him back, have the conversation to make sure that the board understands what they're voting on, and to make sure that the vote is accurate.
Okay, thank you. So, and your name, sir?
Michael Blaze.
All right, and you are the owner of the business?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Are you the sole owner? Yes. Okay. Does the board have any questions?
I just have one question for administration. Although the business has been unlicensed, there's no pending issues, complaints with any of our town departments. Everything's been operating, as far as we know, without any issue?
Through the chair, there are no issues or complaints, and I think at one point, the owner actually thought he had a license.
What happened was, our license got sent to whoever was there before for renewal, so it didn't go, it wasn't renewed this year. But what happened was I was running under the old license. It was a name change. So we came in and do the name change, but the license was only active till, because we didn't realize we didn't renew it. So that's what the confusion was.
Okay. So
But it was an active license, it just had lapsed, that's all.
all right, I understand, I think. And can we, town manager, can we put a mechanism in place so that if we don't get a renewal on a license, we'll reach out to call that business or individual?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman, we have already put that in place.
Yep, good. All right.
Madam Chair, I just have one other question for the administration. If we approve the license tonight, will this business have to come back in a month to renew the license again?
Well, they said I just got the renewal for the one from last month. So they said I don't have to come back, but I have to obviously renew it in a month, but I don't have to come back.
So it's not something where we have to approve every single, as long as they renew it, it doesn't have to come to this board every single time?
Every year, it comes to the
It does.
board at the end of the year,
Okay.
but he doesn't have to come back.
Okay. So, and I guess I'll ask, I'm comfortable approving it like we did last time through December 2026, since it's only for a month. But I don't know if my fellow board members support that.
I'm sorry, my understanding, it just comes back to us as a list. Like, in the end of December, these are the people who have submitted their renewals.
Correct. I believe there is a cost associated with the 25 license as well as the 26. I think Mr. Corain's saying that the rest of 25 would be, it would include 25 on the 26 license, same fee.
Correct, similar to what we did the last meeting for two similar businesses that were just getting their licenses. We approved it through December 2026, so they're not being charged, double charged, essentially.
So because this is just a lapse in license, and when I say that they should have already paid for 25, so I wouldn't be in favor of waiving it, as they were working under that license that they thought they had anyway.
That's fine.
I don't know, other board members?
Any other questions? Does anyone in the public have any questions, comments? No?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing?
So we have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the auto repair license for m and T Auto Body and Repair at 848 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass., provided that all applicable requirements of the state and town and any of its departments, boards, and commissions have been fulfilled? Said license is subject to all the conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all the conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void, with the conditions of the DCG to be placed on the license.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. You're all set.
Question, now, the one license I got last month, is that still, or do I get another one now?
Danielle, it's still valid. Oh, they get a new one.
New date?
I believe, it seems like the board is re-voting
Yes.
on the license that they previously approved.
You will have a new one.
Okay, so they'll just email, Caitlin will email
Yes.
it tomorrow.
Thank you.
And we've
Thank
got his
you.
correct, we've got his correct address, right?
We do.
We do,
Thank you.
good. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All right, next we have item 6A, the fire department. So the fire station building committee and the OPM update presentation on the fire station project. OPM Joe Sullivan will be presenting. So you can sit here, or I don't know if you have anything on,
Oh, just a verbal.
okay.
So, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to introduce, Joe had a last-minute thing, he wasn't able to make it. So this is Connor Sullivan from Left Field, and Mr. Mark Imsey, who's the chairman of the Fire Station Building Committee. So, turn it over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. Just to give a brief update on the fire station project, TechDon, our architect, record has almost completed the design development phase of the project. That will be delivered on Friday, October 31st, this Friday, to which we will then send to our own cost estimators as well as Tecton's cost estimators to give them a couple weeks to refine and come up with numbers associated with for the specifications and the drawings provided. Then a reconciliation will take place between the two cost estimators, which will give them a chance to refine and give the town of Auburn a more clear direction of financially where the project will be going. And then that will kick off the construction document phase, to which they'll start refining a little bit more on materials and stuff like that throughout the building. Continuing with our meeting, we have weekly meetings with the department, with chief, deputy, and their staff, to which they very smartly came up with the idea of potentially having an early package done by the department in the town of Auburn. Together with the cost of rental equipment and the architect and engineer's work for the early package, the town would end up saving a good chunk of money, right over $300,000, as if we were going to have a contractor do that work. So it is a significant amount of money that will help and benefit the project in the long run, which will allow the town to have a more robust project in the long run for that, which is great. So if you do see the TPW or the fire department on site next week, that may be some of that work that will be taking place. In moving forward with alternates. So the architect and the building committee, we have been reviewing alternates throughout the pricing of the project. This may be changing of architectural features, or, I'm sorry, not features, materials, and adjusting, just refining certain aspects of the design without affecting the program for the department itself. We don't want to take away anything that may affect their program or take away any kind of reasons to have the building itself. So this has not been completely vetted, but we have been working on it and reviewing it with the building committee for their approval on a monthly basis. Also, we have started the pre-qualification process of bidders, which we received most qualifications last week from a number of subcontractors and contractors, to which Left Field will take most of the load, as well as a subcommittee. Just 3 members of the building committee have volunteered to help out with that lift as well. We met last week to refine the scoring criteria with them. So the subcommittee has approved that, and we have moved forward with that. So we should have qualifications, and we will contact the subcontractors and contractors within the next few weeks. I think it's 4 weeks from now. So all good stuff. We're moving forward. We're very excited for this project and to give the town and the fire department what they need.
Okay, great, thank you.
I don't know if Mark had
Yes.
anything else.
He covered pretty much everything. I mean, we're pushing through, we're keeping, obviously everything's trying to stay under budget and on time and stuff, so that's our main goal.
Yep.
Push and then keep the services that they've asked for, that and more, so.
Yeah, we're still on track for potential start of construction mid-April next year, so.
Mid-April, okay. And when would the finish be?
December of '27.
Yeah, it's late 27.
And at that point, then it could be active in the fire.
Correct.
Okay.
So I love to hear that there was some cost savings. I'm a little concerned, and I'll leave it to the building committee, but materials, I know there was a lot of discussion about making sure that our maintenance costs weren't going to go through the roof because we went with lesser materials. So I just want to make sure that the building committee is really thinking about the cost implications of any alternates or reduction in materials for upfront cost savings where the longevity will be probably.
I think the initial plans went, for the top line, going for the 50 to 70 year type of mindset. I think we're still staying on that. I mean, some of the maybe roofing materials and stuff may, change a little bit, but they're not going to be the type that would, shorten it that far. It's not like we're going to asphalt shingles or something like that. We're staying at, metal roofing and stuff that, has a much longer lifespan to it. And, that's all, it does come up every time we talk about when we're looking at, the list of alternates that we've been putting together, the possibilities that, if we look at this, but how does that affect maintenance and stuff, that we want to make sure we, keep it as long-term items.
And I think the committee's doing a great job. I just want to make sure that everyone knows that, it's not going to be an inexpensive building that's going to cost us more in the long run, because we've fallen into that trap before.
Yep.
And as long as we're coming in with what we had approval at town meeting, we should make sure it's going to be the best it can be within that scope. So, thank you.
Absolutely, yep. The project team has that in mind moving forward, so, yep, absolutely.
Thank you for your work as well.
Of course I do. Thank you for all the hard work that you guys have been doing along with the committee. I have a couple questions. I know you're doing the pre-qual now. Is the bid timing still second quarter 2026, or is it
First quarter.
First quarter. So when do you expect those bids to be released? And the reason why I ask there is because we have a wage theft committee formulating a policy for the board to consider. And I know that they're trying to match their timing before your bid goes out to ensure that the contractors that are doing this work are abiding by best practices when it comes to those fair labor practices.
Of course, yeah. I think we have it set for middle of February, I want to say. That was like the time period for awarding, so.
Great. The second question is probably to the administration. My little ears went up when I heard that we were saving money. That's great. With the early work being done with the town, with DPW doing this work, are they doing it during normal working hours? Meaning, are we diverting them from their normal stuff, or are they doing
I'm sorry.
it after hours?
Yeah, I should have been more
On
clear.
their
I'm
own.
sorry. Yeah.
I can take that. So no, and just to kind of clarify what the work is. So at the last building committee meeting, Tecton Architects brought up and made some sort of a comment about that there's a significant amount of money being allocated to haul material off-site. So the next day, that piqued my interest, it piqued the deputy's interest. We called Tecton and we said, what is that number? What's the scope of work? What are we talking about? And the reason that we had this in mind is that the DPW for many, many years has been looking for fill for the cemetery, for a potential future expansion of the cemetery. And we felt that the amount of fill, because we know it's clean, because we had it tested before we purchased the property, we did a number of test pits, we provided all of that information to the DPW engineers, and they determined, like, yep, it's great fill, it's clean fill, it will work in this project. So we put together our own internal cost estimates to rent outside haulers to haul the material to the cemetery, sort of not including DPW, and then to reclaim that parking lot, grind it all up, because we would be able to utilize more of that fill. So it's really going to be two phases. The part on the right where the lawn is, hopefully within like a 3 or 4 day period, we're going to have that excavated and hauled to the cemetery using private haulers. And then the reclaimed part will just be piled, and then over a period of a few weeks, DPW after hours will go over and make trips from the parking lot over to the cemetery. So it's a two-parter. So DPW will be doing this work over that period of time off hours, just taking into consideration concerns that the board have had in the past with DPW being pulled in 100 different directions. So we estimate that even with the approximate $60,000 to $70,000 that we'll be spending on this project, we anticipate anywhere from a $300,000 to $330,000 savings overall in terms of the removal of that material from the property, and we're able to reuse our own material to kind of address this cemetery issue that they've been looking at for many, many years.
Thank you, that's great.
Good, that's a great explanation of that. Thank you very much. I think people are going to see a lot of work going on down there, so that's a good explanation of what's going to happen. Thank you very much for the presentation, and Mr. Imsey, thank you to you and to your board. I remind everyone, you're all volunteers. No one's getting paid for this, and you guys put a lot of effort and time into this.
Had a lot of dedicated members on there, and they're all,
Yeah, they're great.
willing and able. We had almost 100% attendance all the time, so that's great.
That's very good. Well, I think it makes us feel good because you're doing a good job keeping an eye on everything, too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next on our agenda, item 8B, gift acceptances in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. So will the board, let me get to this here. Will the board, we have a $3,000 gift to the Fur Friends of Auburn coming from the Fire Department gift account.
I think that's backwards. So I'll make a motion to accept the gift of $3,000 from the Fur Friends of Auburn to the Auburn Fire Rescue Department for their fire department gift account, and ask that a letter be drafted for your signature.
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. All right, our next item is 8C. We're going to board vote to change the address and gas registration permit at 380 Southbridge Street, Auburn, under Southbridge Trust LLC. All right. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to change the address on the gas registration permit at 380 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, under Southbridge Trust LLC.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next, item 8D, a board vote to amend flammable storage license by Asbury Auburn T. LLC, doing business as Herb Chambers Toyota Auburn, located at 809 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. Any questions? No? Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to amend the flammable storage license by Asbury Auburn T. LLC, doing business as Herb Chambers Toyota Auburn, located at 809 Washington Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay, now we're at item 8E. Do a board vote on drain layer license for Brunel Contracting LLC at 50 Maple Street, Mansfield, Mass. And this application has been vetted by the DPW and did not need to go through the DCG. And the applicant does not need to be present. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the drain layer license for Brunel Contracting LLC, located at 50 Maple Street, Mansfield, Mass. 02048, provided that all applicable requirements of the state and town and any of its departments, boards, and commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all the conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we're at item 8F, a board vote on outdoor entertainment license for the town of Auburn for the Pet Parade event at Pappas Recreation Complex on October 29, 2025, from 5 to 7 p.m. And this application was vetted by the assistant town manager and did not need to go through the DCG. Do you want to tell us about it, or is there anyone here to tell us about it?
Yes.
Oh, here we go.
They're here.
Darlene Coyle, nice to see you.
Good evening, all. Thank you so much. So we have as you know, we have the Halloween Pet Parade this Wednesday, 5 to 7 at the Pappas Pavilion. We're very excited about it. We have a lot of great contests for pets in costumes, and just a good family night. And we're going to have a couple of food trucks as well. The reason that this is before you is because we will have some Halloween music. There's no bands or anything like that. It's just going to be our cable director is going to have some festive music on, and we'll have a microphone for like some announcements. So it's not going to be anything like obtrusive, and the event is really just 2 hours. So we wanted to, just to be safe, because it is music and a microphone, to bring it before the board.
Thank you. Good. Any questions?
I'm sorry, through the chair?
Yes.
If I can offer one more item. The board had asked to just make sure that we reviewed any safety protocols, so we have, I did want to offer that we added a second part to the flyer, just to remind people to keep their socialized pets on leash and so forth. So we did offer that, and we will have some additional staff that night as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the outdoor entertainment license for the town of Auburn at 104 Central Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501, for the Halloween Pet Parade taking place at Pappas Recreation Complex on October 29th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., provided that all applicable requirements of the state and town and any of its departments, boards, and commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all the conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have item 9A, a board vote to set the tax classification hearing for Monday, November 10th, 2025. Do you have anything to?
Yes, if I can.
Yeah.
The assessor, Seth, he was here, has, through our meetings, has decided when the tax classification hearing will be set. It's Monday, November 10th, 2025, at your meeting at 6:30 PM.
Madam Chair, can I just ask one question?
Sure.
Is it earlier this year than it normally is? For some reason, I think it's normally like mid-November or early December in the past. Seems,
I don't think so.
no? Okay.
I always ask why it needs to be so early, but I do think there's a timeline requirement.
There is.
So after the special town meeting, there's some key dates, so it probably fluctuates between 3 and 5 days, but it's not much longer.
Any other questions?
Are we going to have a Marine Corps birthday celebration as well on the 10th? What's going on?
We'll mention it.
Are you going to bring cake? Are you going to dress in uniform?
Yeah.
What are you
I will not be dressing in uniform. I promise that does not fit.
I'll make a motion to set the tax classification hearing for Monday, November 10th, 2025.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So now we're at tabled items. 10A, gift acceptance in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A, a board vote to accept $4,800 to the DPW from Steve Chambers for the purchase and planting of a cherry tree in honor of Dr. Goddard and a Norway spruce tree to replace the tree used at the annual holiday tree lighting, both located at Goddard Park. Okay? Anything you want to mention?
I don't think so. So the original discussion regarding a cherry tree was because it was so integral to Dr. Robert Goddard's history, and we are going up to the centennial next year. So we thought it was the the right idea to try to incorporate that into Goddard Park. So we were able to get a beautiful cherry tree and have that planted. And in speaking with DPW over the last few months, we had an issue with the current holiday tree that we had, and the top of it was struggling quite a bit, and there wasn't anything we could do to save it.
Yep.
So we were lucky enough to be able to find another one, and in conversations with notifying the board, Mr. Chambers had come into my office and asked if he could make the donation.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions?
I just want to, once again, as I did last meeting, thank Mr. Chambers for his very generous donation for this. And with that, I'll make a motion to accept the gift of $4,800 from Stephen J. Chambers to the DPW for the purchase and planting of 2 trees, both located at Goddard Park, and ask that a letter be prepared for your signature.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay. Thank you, Steve. That's very kind. That's very good. All right, now we're at 10B, review, discussion, and vote recommendations on October 28th, 2025 special town meeting warrant articles number 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, and 24. And we're going to either recommend approval, not recommend approval, defer to the petitioner, or take no position at this time. All right, Karen Harnois, would you like to come up, our Chief Financial Officer? So the first article was number 11, and we didn't vote to make any recommendation on it because the number was not filled in, as usual. Yes.
Madam Chair, can I just ask, we had a conversation at the last meeting, a presentation from the school department relative to warrant Article 3, with the amount changing and the accounts coming from it changing due to a much larger failure of the system in the parking lot. Do we have to take a vote to reaffirm our approval recommendation, just in case there's a question at town meeting saying, you voted for the 150, but does the select board support the higher number? Without a vote saying that, we won't be able to answer yes at town meeting.
If I may, through the chair, the reason Dr. Chamberlain came in was to discuss the increased work that was required and also let you know that she'll be doing the change as an amendment to the item at the town meeting. So I don't think you can vote on that yet because it's not yet changed.
Yep.
And it's not going to be changed until it's on the floor.
Okay.
Let's see what he says.
So I guess the issue with that will be that once it is changed, if a town meeting member gets up and says, Select Board, do you support this? We won't be able to answer yes.
So we can always take a poll of the board
Yeah.
right now
Yep.
and just say.
That's what I'd like to do, is to take a poll of the board so that the chair will be able to answer.
I mean, we can't say it's a recommendation
Yeah.
because it's changed, but we can say. we
Okay.
discussed it, blah, 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 blah.
I understand what you're saying, and unfortunately, the way the warrant is written right now, that article...
agenda.
The agenda, that article number 3 is not something that we're going to be voting on tonight, unfortunately.
Okay, I would just like to share my disappointment with that, because I believe at the last meeting, we specifically said we would be adding warrant Article 3 to this so that we could make that vote to support the school department. And now we're not going to be able to, and I understand due to open meeting law why we won't be able to, and I just want to share my disappointment that that was not caught, because it will be the fact that if somebody from town meeting says, does the select board support the amended item, we will not be able to say yes, and I would prefer to say yes.
If I... It needs to be amended, and we don't know what that amendment will be, although we have a draft of that. We don't know what anyone will say. So any article that is asked for a recommendation, they could come back and ask the same thing. So I don't think there's anything we can do about that at this point anyway, unless the article was rewritten before, but the article or the warrant had already closed when the issue became known, so.
during the town meeting can stand up and speak in favor of that article, too.
That's what I was going to ask, is would it be possible at town meeting to take a poll of the board if it should get asked?
It's not a posted meeting for the select board, so I don't think that would happen. I think,
We have a little slip over there that says public comment. Everybody else signs up for it. Why don't we do it at the end of this meeting and just announce it? And then you're covered if you want to do it. We have it available to us. We're not violating the open meeting law. It's part of our posted agenda. All we need to do is sign up as individuals, and if we want to go out there, we can go out there. But, I mean, we're holding up Karen, and, you know, they've been there all day, so, I mean, I appreciate you bringing it up, but
All right, so, thank you. Any other questions on that? So we're looking at hearing none, looking at Article 11. And this is the article where we, let me get to it, are going to vote to appropriate money from free cash to the town OPEB. Karen, do you want to just tell us, give us an update on that article?
Yes, sure. So the recommendation is to appropriate $250,000 from free cash to the town OPEB fund. We had to wait until the free cash was certified, and it has been certified. However, the town's policy with using 50% of the increase from year to year, the amount that can be spent isn't as much as it has been in previous years. So the prior year, $500,000 was recommended and approved to be appropriated to from free cash to the OPEB, but it's $250,000 for this year. And just to let you know, at the last meeting, we did go over the some activity in the OPEB, and the liability is approximately $63.3 million, though we did just have an update in the study, and I do believe that it's closer to $67 million at this time, but I will bring that to the board in the future.
Not a question, just a statement similar to the thoughts that I shared at the last meeting, but I just want it reflected before we take this vote, is that I understand the importance of setting aside money for the OPEB. Once we set aside money for OPEB, it's locked in. We can't take it back for any other use. Our employees also contribute each year around $200,000, if I remember correctly from the graph from last time. And I understand that our financial advisors like to see us put extra in, and I support that. I don't, given that we are only dealing with $350,000 this year, which is a lot less than previous years due to our free cash not coming in as high due to various issues, I would have preferred to see $100,000 go into free cash and $250,000 go into our stabilization fund. And the reason for that is our stabilization fund is our rainy day fund. It's at $4.7 million now. We're putting less into it this time than we have taken out in the last fiscal year, which means that it's essentially going down. And as a rainy day fund, we know from reports on the state level, as well as our own issues locally, that a storm is coming that we need to be prepared for financially. And we have some large ticket infrastructure items when it comes to culverts, dams, roads, et cetera, that are pending, where the can has been kicked down the road and it's gonna come due. One example is Water Street alone. The original estimate in the Warren article that DPW director put forward was $1.5 million. That's a third of our entire stabilization fund. So one project, if that is becomes a real amount, could wipe out 1/3 of our stabilization fund. So this is why I think that I would have preferred, just speaking for myself, to see these numbers reversed. I understand that's not what's being proposed. I understand why it's not being proposed that. I just want to make it very clear for the record why I'm taking the votes that I take tonight.
I appreciate that. And I did mention at the meeting before, the 29th, that I think these need to be more of a conversation with the board. This isn't something that we should be, obviously, yes, we want a recommendation, but this should be a conversation that we start probably in September, because we know that fall town meeting between the manager and the CFO, with individual board members and the finance committee. So so that we can, you know, have a say in that. However, I agree with the recommendation. We have a $66 million liability that's sitting out there, which we do need to fund, because as we know, population isn't, we're not replacing people. We may not have an opportunity to fully fund this. And I know from watching the Finance Committee, and I know we've talked about this, and the CFO has mentioned it about looking at the financial policies. I know that the Finance Committee is looking to change how we do things with the OPEB trust and other things, and I'm, you know, generally in support of what they're suggesting. So I think that could be an avenue as well for us. But I support it because I see the $66 million as a growing problem, and I know we get like 2%, which is something that was agreed to in a contract, but many of our employees do not pay that 2%. That was from a specific period in time, if I'm not mistaken. That was something that Ms. Jacobson negotiated as part of a contract. I don't remember the year, but so we still have this liability, and we also know that healthcare is not going to go down, it's going up. And I do not like to see our retirees, many of which, you know, again, I've been doing this since '96. Many of those people who, when I started, they made very little money. Most of the people who are retirees did not make a great deal of money for the town, for their work. They work very hard, they're excellent. I don't want to see them getting hit on the backside, because we also know that the pension only goes so far, and as you get older, everything's going up for us, it's going up for them. So that's a long-winded commercial for, I'm in support of the 250 and the 1, but I would like to see us spend some time doing that.
Karen, did you want to say something at this point?
Yes, actually, it's a good follow-up to what Mr. Carpenter said. It was discussed at the Finance Committee last week that they would like to approach the Board of Selectmen about their idea of putting together an OPEB committee, which would have maybe a member from the Board of Selectmen, member from Finance Committee, the CFO, maybe some other members from the community on there to just discuss the investments and what we have with Bartholomew, the trust fund for OPEB, and maybe at that time, too, that we can discuss some of the funding on it as well.
Sorry, can I ask, through the chair, at the Finance Committee meeting, did they take a position on, I know they're blank, they're still under recommendation or waiting. Did they take a position on 11?
They did. They voted both to support both.
Okay, thank you.
If I may, I hope to have more discussions on this particular issue at future board meetings, whether it's presented by someone from the Finance Committee. Do we know what our annual spend is out of that fund? Do we, and the reason I ask is because I know we're not funding it at the volume that it's coming out, so that is going to continue to grow, and if we're not funding that, that becomes a long-term liability. And I know short-term, as Mr. Corain expressed, we're about to hit a wave, but at the same time, kicking the can down the road has never really helped anyone. So I would love for a committee or something to be developed so we can have more in-depth discussions, but I think we're ready to make a motion if anyone else is.
May I just comment, too? We're not taking any of that money right now. That's for future liabilities, for other post-employment benefits, so mostly health insurance costs for our retirees down the road. So that's just sitting there now, we're putting it in, it's accumulating interest, and we've got this shifting liability.
I know that's part of the reason why the Finance Committee is talking about it. I believe the figure was 50%, and I don't know if we get up to 50% of the anticipated, we could potentially use some of that money to offset some things. So, but that's a long way away.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, do we have a motion on Article 11?
Make a motion that we recommend.
A second.
So we have a motion and a second to recommend approval. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
So Article 12, to see if the town meeting will vote to appropriate $100,000 from free cash to the town stabilization fund or act on anything relative thereto. Any questions or discussions?
Make a motion to recommend the article?
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to recommend approval on Article 12. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
All right. So now we're going down, all right, looking at, thank you, number 16, 17, and 18. Article 16 is about the traffic study bylaw. And do we have an update on that? Dr. Nard, our town planner can tell us the status of this bylaw.
Good evening. So the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee met last week to discuss this a bit further. They also met with the DPW director and the police chief to have a discussion about it. The recommendation is the same as to take it up in the spring. They'd like to get some more technical assistance to review it, professional if possible, like whether a traffic engineer, if that's feasible. If not, work closely with the DPW director and their engineers to try to come up with some stronger language, some definitions, for example, to include in it what is a large development, small development, and just some more framework.
Okay, so it sounds like it's going to be postponed indefinitely at town meeting.
Okay.
Through the chair, this is our article, so unless we vote to defer, but I would like to make a comment that we move forward with it and let them correct it as they do every other bylaw as things aren't approved. But we've pulled this back once already. I think we need to move forward, and then there will be a framework to which they can edit and move forward with. But this is our recommendation, so unless the board feels otherwise to postpone.
Madam Chair, if I could ask a question.
Sure.
Is this something that CMRPC can assist? DPW director has a lot.
I can ask them, although they don't really have that kind of technical staff on their staff.
I would say that I'm in agreement with Mr. Chambers that we should go forward with this. It is imperfect. It isn't all we want it to be, but I do think that if we keep kicking the can down the road, it may never get done. So I think the zoning bylaw committee can devote whatever time they need to improve it. We tried to get this kicked off in June, we're now in October. I think, really can choose whether they want to accept our recommendation or not. Go forward with it and seek, corrections at a later date. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say anyway.
Any other questions?
Not a question, just a comment that I share the opinion of Mr. Chambers and Mr. Carpenter. As Mr. Carpenter said, we tried to get this to the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee in June when we voted for it. We had town meeting postpone it in May with the thought that we would move this forward for the fall town meeting and do what was needed. I have the utmost respect for the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee. That's why I wanted them to see it. I wanted to give them 4 or 5 months to work on this. Fortunately, timing did not work out the way that this board had hoped. I agree that I think that, though not perfect, it's a lot better than having nothing on the books, quite frankly. And I think we need to move forward putting this in place before any other large projects come before the ZBA. This gives the ZBA and the Planning Board and the Conservation Commission and our staff the ability to get good information for them to make their decisions on. So I think we need to move it forward and let the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee make the tweaks that they want and come back in May.
Okay, so we've talked about this. Do I hear a motion?
Motion that we recommend this article.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to recommend Article 16 All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so that is recommended approval. Article 17, to see if the town meeting will vote to accept Nancy Drive as a public way. Okay.
So can I just confirm with the DPW director that per the discussion at the last meeting, two of the members weren't here, that we had voted to send this to the planning board. They were going to hold a public hearing at some point, and that this was going to look to come back. You were going to look to bring this back into the May town meeting. So you were not going to have, you're not going to move this on the floor.
I was intending to postpone this until the annual.
So with that, I think we, make a motion to defer to the petitioner. If my board agrees.
Any questions?
No, I agree.
Okay.
All right.
I'll make a motion to, that we defer to the petitioner.
Second.
Okay, so you have a motion on second on Article 17 to defer to the petitioner. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so now we're looking at Article 18. See if town meeting will vote to grant to National Grid temporary and/or permanent easements across, over, and under town property on Auburn Street. Okay. Do we have any questions?
It says poles, it's one pole, correct? Replacement of one pole?
Right, so, yeah, they would be removing one and replacing it with the other one, but it's just one pole.
Thank you.
So I make a motion that we recommend approval.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to recommend approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, it's 18 now. Let's look at Article 24. And this is to see if town meeting will vote to repurpose CIP funds by amending Article 4 of the May 6, 2025 annual town meeting, catch basin truck, as follows. Authorize $65,000 to be used for the repair of 2014 International 7000 six-wheel dump/sand plow number 45, or act on anything relative thereto. So,
Can I
Yes.
speak on this?
Yep.
So at the time that this was brought in front of the board, there was at least a discussion regarding where the money came from, because there's an acknowledgement that we need to put some resources towards DPW. And speaking with the DPW director, in this particular case, not only is the article written, both her and I support that it stay this way, only because we're reappropriating funds that make sense, but we do understand and respect the Board of Selectmen's opinion, and you'll see that in the CIP for next fiscal year.
If I may, so there will be funds for a catch basin truck?
Yes, so what happened is we actually got on a few new employees that were able to take another look at that truck. They're able to fix it at a lot less in-house. So we're able to save that money anyway, so that's why it makes sense to, we're not going to spend it on that truck because it's a much less cost.
And what will the life of the repaired truck be? Will it be short-sighted, and will we be out in a couple of years, or are we going to get 10 years out of this vehicle?
So, through the chair, based on my conversations with the mechanic, we are looking at about 10 years. Obviously, we don't really know the exact number, but based on his experience, he doesn't want to let that truck go just because he thinks that it's one of those trucks that was made to last.
I'm all for it if we can repurpose and get the useful life out of it. Again, I just don't want to be short-sighted and be back in a couple of years when we already allocated the money for it. That's just my concern. And again, I'm not an expert on any of these, and you'll see it's the same train of thought with me on other things. Again, I don't want the fire stations committee to save a nickel now to cost us more in the future. So if we're going to get a useful life of 10 years or expected, I'm not going to hold you accountable for that. But again, all of our maintenance, if we can get more life out of it, it's very helpful. but at the same time, we know that we need to reallocate or allocate resources to make sure we're not depleting the fleet. That's my statement.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Grant?
Yeah, I just want to, support what Mr. Chambers had said. I had raised the initial questions about this because my concern was that we were going to be depleting the fleet or reducing the long-term capacity of the fleet, and DPW has been hit hard enough, quite frankly, in my opinion at least, and I wanted to make sure that they were not going to go without. But hearing that both the catch basin truck as well as the dump and sand plow, number 45, will remain in service for a good amount of time with this transfer, then I'm supportive now.
Okay, any other comments? Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion that we recommend Article 24.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion to, we have a motion and a second to recommend approval on Article 24. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, and that is set. Number 11, member items. We have a board vote to issue a proclamation to Auburn Police Department Sergeant Brian Kennedy honoring his 36-year career in protecting and serving the residents of Auburn and congratulating him on his retirement. This is put forth by Todd Corain. So go ahead.
So Sergeant Kennedy recently retired from the Auburn PD. He spent 36 years of his career in Auburn, protecting and serving our community, and I think that, as I have with others, I think it's important that this board, on behalf of the residents, recognize and honor these longtime services from our employees. So I would like to ask that the board issue a proclamation that can be provided and presented to Sergeant Kennedy at a future meeting.
So is that a motion?
Unless there's any, I don't know if there's any question. I didn't want to jump questions or comments, so.
I think it's a great idea.
Agreed.
Then I will make a motion to issue a proclamation to Auburn Police Department Sergeant Brian Kennedy, honoring his 36-year career in protecting and serving the residents of Auburn, and congratulating him on his retirement.
Right.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we don't have anyone for public comments now, do we?
There's no one signed up.
There's no one signed up. Number 13, minutes. So we have minutes from October 14th, 2025. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about those?
I was not present, so, but I did watch the meeting, as I watched the meeting on the 22nd as well.
So we don't have to vote on this, but we can accept those September 22nd, 2025. Oh, I beg your pardon. We're looking at the September 22nd, 2025 minutes. Okay? Let's just verify this. No, it is the
I think we
14th.
accepted those at the last.
Yeah, we accepted those at the last meeting.
So that's just a typo there. So we are looking at the October 14th, 2025 minutes, and we have no questions or concerns, so we can accept those minutes as read. Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
No, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.